Yeah, all right. We're bringing out the big guns now. Well, good evening again, and welcome to week 13 of my marathon journey. Welcome to Too Slow Too Old. This is a channel by me who is trying to run a marathon for the first time in his life at age 50. And I'm running for a charity called Dementia Concern, who are a great charity in Ealing who help people out who are suffering from dementia and them and their families and carers. It's really worthwhile work. It's desperately needed. And if you feel close to that cause, if you enjoy this silliness, if you just want to give a few quid to charity, links down below. Go and have a look at my enthused page, and any couple of quid in the kitty would be really greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. Onward. Right, week 13. Unlucky week 13. How can I injure myself in week 13? This is the longest week by volume of the entire program, I think. Am I right in saying that? Yes. So straight after the half marathon last week, we went into the longest run, or the Sunday had the longest run of the entire program in it, other than the marathon, of course. So it's the standard, fairly standard now, 2 13k normal runs, 10k pace run, and then 32 kilometers, the long run, the 20 miler that everyone dreads at the end of it. And to say I was a little bit apprehensive about that was an understatement. It was also becoming unseasonably warm in the UK. We were getting temperatures up to 20 degrees, which at the beginning or the end of March, beginning of April is really quite rare. So I had that to contend with, especially trying to keep in zone 2 on the longer runs, or the easier runs. So anyway, Tuesday's 13k easy run went kind of like this. Good evening. Don't know if you can see that sunset, but it's lovely. It's a 13k shakeout run from the marathon, half marathon rather, on the weekend. Nice and slow. This is the last big week, week 13. Welcome to week 13. Last big week before the taper starts, and we really start getting nervous. I'm going to try today to run very gently at 170 beats per minute, strides per minute. That's what worked for me on the weekend, and while it was obviously much faster than I was expecting, and it certainly wasn't in zone 2, I want to see if I can run it in zone 2 at all. So we're going to give that a go for the first couple of kilometres and see what happens. I will report back. Halfway point. Well, I've stuck it in zone 2 and zone 1 all the way around so far. Kind of nailed on 170 or thereabouts. It's weird, I feel like I'm flying because of the speed my feet are moving at, but I'm going really slowly. I think my step length must be about 30 centimetres. I properly look like a plum. On the other hand, kilometres are flying by without too much effort, which is about what I need, I think. We continue. Well, that was a weird one. 13k done. I really don't feel like I put in very much effort, which is good. I managed to, I think, sit on 170 strides per minute, steps per minute, going at no speed at all. I think I finally understood what running economy is, maybe. So the question now becomes, if I can run a half marathon at 170 strides per minute at 6:15, 6:14, 6:13 per kilometre in zone 3
upper zone 3 and zone 4 towards the end, and I can run 7:15 per kilometre in zone 2, dropping into zone 1 quite a lot. How do I find a happy medium? That's around 6:40, maybe 6:30 to 6:40 per kilometre, and in upper zone 2, drifting into zone 3 over time. Because I got 4 weeks to try and figure that out. I think I left it too late, as usual, with me. Anyway, time for home now and bed.
And then Wednesday's 10k pace run I decided to do as a progression, which I think I'll explain in the video, but basically it was 3k marathon-ish pace, but realistic marathon pace, 3k aspirational marathon pace, 3k half marathon pace, and then 1k of blasting it out at the end. And that went like this.
Evening folks, it's back to nighttime running again. I thought I'd left all that behind and got into the morning groove, but alas, I am working with customers this week, and they're European customers, so I'm getting up early. So no running in the mornings, which is a shame. 10k today of gradually increasing pace. I'm going to start with 3 at zone 2 pace, then 3 trying to find this elusive pace that I can keep going for ages and ages and ages. 3 at basically what I ran the half marathon at on Sunday, and then the last one of as fast as I can go. So let's see how that leaves me, and I'll speak to you later on. That was a toughie and no mistake. Tougher than it should have been, I think. Anyway, it's done, and I'm treating myself to a cool down jog because it was a hard effort. Rest day tomorrow, which I think I'm going to need, and then on to Friday and the big weekend. Cheers.
And then Friday I really didn't want to go out on a run because I wanted to save my legs for the Sunday, and it was hot, but I did anyway because that's what the plan told me to do. And it was 13k, and it was really quite, I kept it quite easy up until the end, I think. It's amazing how much the heat affects your heart rate. I think I've come to the realization that while that's true, heat does affect your heart rate at a given effort level. Sleep seems to affect it more. So that's the thing that I need to focus on in the run up to the race itself, the marathon itself. Because when I've not had good sleep, that's when I really struggle to keep my heart rate down. So I think I need to stock up. That carbs and sleep I need to stock up on. Anyway, Friday, easy run, went like this.
Afternoon, you join me for some hot weather training because it is glorious. We're going to have 13 kilometers of very slow, very sweaty fun. And go. And that's halfway. Pretty much on target for slow. It's about 20 degrees here today, which is unseasonably warm, but I'm treating it as a just in case the marathon happens to be a nice day as well. And you never know. And I don't feel too terrible at the moment. About to have a little gel. We have a new flavour of gel today, or should I say no flavour. It is the neutral flavour, which basically tastes like sweetened mucus, which isn't as bad as it sounds. It's probably better than any of the other flavours, to be perfectly honest. Anyway, I'm going to get that down me, talk to you at the end. 13k done, mostly at a sensible pace. Ramped up towards the end because I was getting bored. Heat definitely makes a difference. Time of day probably makes a difference. But let's see how the long run on the weekend goes. The last long run. Hurrah!
And then Sunday, 32 kilometers. Difficult to kind of shoehorn that into a weekend because I knew it was going to take me like 4.5 hours because I'd be running slower than marathon pace, and there's distance, right? It just takes a long time. So I arranged to meet my wife we've got a nature reserve. I don't know, what is it? It might be 6-7 miles away from us, maybe a little more than that. They've got a nice restaurant, coffee shop, as a lot of these places have. So I said, I'll meet you there for lunch. You turn up around 2. I'll set off around 9:30 and I'll plot a route. So that's what I did. I found a website which, if I can be bothered, I will link somewhere, maybe on the screen, that allows you to plot GPS or GPX tracks, and then uploaded that onto my watch via the GPX tracker app, I think. And that it doesn't give you turn-by-turn directions, but it does give you a map on your wrist that you can see where you're going. So I basically plotted a circuitous, I can't say that word, circuitous, something like that, route from my house to the aquadrome that was bang on 32 kilometers. And I uploaded it to my watch and off I went. Now, what I didn't do, and in hindsight I should have done, was actually look at the elevation profile of that route. I kind of know the area because I have driven it. I didn't actually look at where it was taking me, the exact route, but there are some hills. There are quite a few hills. And yeah, I kind of fell foul of that. It was a warm day again. I'm sure I get into all this in the video, but just to lay it out here, it was a warm day. I did my usual trick of getting to somewhere around 14 kilometers and needing to have a poo. I was in the middle of nowhere at that point, and so I just had to walk around for a bit like a duck. I found the Rickmansworth Sailing Club, who were marvellous and allowed me the use of their toilet. And then with that done, I got back onto the route. My little unscheduled pit stop cost me about an extra 2.5 kilometers, I think, in walking around and looking for the place, which added to the time. I actually didn't do too bad on time. And then in the second half, which I'll stick a photograph up actually on here of the elevation profile. All of the elevation seemed to be in the second half of the run, which was horrible. So hot, a little uncomfortable, and then massive hills. So I kind of took the ultramarathoners approach to hills of just walking up them, because I wasn't wasting energy on that. I still did the whole thing in about 4.5 hours, so that was quite good. And yeah, while I didn't run it all, I did cover it all in the time that I thought I was going to cover it in, and in fairly adverse conditions. I think. I mean, there was probably, I think there was twice the elevation of the entire London Marathon course in that run, over twice. And yeah, I don't know. I felt reasonably happy with the result. Anyway, this is how it went.
Good morning, good morning. It's the dreaded day, the longest of long runs. 32 kilometres on the clock. I'm going to head out and do a route that I've never done before, that hopefully ends in a nice lunch. So there's a carrot at the end of the stick. Lovely morning. A little bit cool, but the sun's warm and it's going to get warmer, and I'm basically trying pretty much all of my marathon kit, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Only a couple of kilometres in. It's been mostly uphill so far, which has been horrible. We're on a downhill bit now, and my route has taken me through my local golf course, or what used to be my local golf course. It was shut down, I think, just before Christmas. It was a council run course, just not profitable enough, I don't think. And I assume with all the squeezes that go on in local councils at the moment, this is one of the easiest and first things to go. Weirdly, it still looks reasonably playable. I'm sure the greens are terrible, but it's odd to be out here on such a lovely morning and have absolutely no one else around. Hope they get that sorted soon. I'll need something to do with my time once this marathon's done. The greens look really good. They're obviously still employing the groundskeepers. Might come down later on with a couple of sticks. 5k gone. I can honestly say I've not ever been on these lanes before. Been down past a couple of lakes that I've only ever seen from the roads. Got a different view on the HS2 expansion, which was really quite beautiful. And now I'm running through some woods. It's lovely. Same pattern today as for the marathon. So every 5k I'm stopping to do a bit of this nonsense and take a gel in. So fueling practice, here we come. Orangey ones today. Quarter distance. Feeling good. Too many bloody hills though. On another one now. And there's flies. Bring back winter, that's what I say. Well, that was a 20-minute detour I could have done without. Predictably enough, at 10k, I needed a dump. In the middle of basically nowhere. So thank you, Rickmansworth Sailing Club, for literally saving my arse. Now I've just got to find my way back to my route and continue. Still a beautiful day. We are now 12k in and enjoying ourselves again. And that's halfway-ish, excluding that I owe myself a kilometre and a half or so for that unscheduled pit stop. Now heading into the top end of Rickmansworth. Yeah, it's good. I'm following the Greg Wiley School of Ultramarathons just now. I'm walking the hills, and this one's a fucker. Didn't have elevation on my map. I'll know better for next time. Zone 3, just walking up this. Jesus. Okay, this is the last time I just drag lines on a map until it makes the distance. I'm now cross country, going through some fields with some horses. I hope they're not fierce horses, but not fierce horses. And here's half marathon distance again, although on a more rugged and off-road course than I'm used to. That second 10k has really flown by up until maybe the last 2 or 3 where I was going across fields. Still feeling reasonably fresh. Still feeling like if this was flat, I'd be absolutely fine. Here's another hill. Catch you on the other side. 25.5k in. Hit another ridiculous hill. So I'm having a walkie up it. Grief. Makes me not want to ever do Boston. 30k. From here on, every step is the furthest I've ever run. Although to say I've run a lot of this second half would be a lie because of these hills. My God, this, I'm sure the camera's not doing it justice. I'm trying to hold it kind of horizontal. This must be like 1 in 3. Anyway, not far to go now. Let's see if I can start breathing again. Taking my last gel now, but honestly, I'm stuffed. I don't think I need more fuel. I'm fairly sure I can't get anything else into my belly. So I'm going to give it a miss and see what happens. It's been passed by a DeLorean. Incredible. That's 32k done. Unfortunately, that includes my little walking detour to the little boys' room. So I think I've got another probably 2k to go till I get to where my lunch is. Press on, and that is 34.5 kilometres of a 32 kilometre long run in 4 hours and 37 minutes. As you know, a lot of it walking, or a lot of the second half walking, and the big gap in the middle. Be interested to know what my last couple of running splits were, and be very interested to know what the total climb was on that course, because that felt brutal. Just walking into the Rickmansworth Aquadrome now for a nice spot of lunch and to meet my lovely wife. Probably not in that order. Do I think I've got another 8k in me? Yeah, I think so, certainly at this pace. I mean, to be honest, this is the total time, or near, not quite, but near the total time I'm intending to be on the course in 3 weeks' time. Obviously averaging a little faster. No doubt I'll have to take a pit stop at some point, but hopefully I won't have to walk 1.5 kilometres for one. And I'll be a bit better rested. Won't have had the longest week of ever running, ever. Plus dancing at a party till late last night. So quite happy with this. Slow though it is, glad to get the miles and the time on my feet.
God, I do hope this has been in focus all the time. I can see it's only just got my eyeball. I hope it's not getting Ginny the Jaguar's eyeball. Anyway, so that's that. That was week 13. Got through it just about unscathed. Felt a little fatigued, and was glad to get that long one done and dusted. Almost makes me feel like I'm not a fraud. Almost. Talk to you next week.
Give myself a dead leg on a kissing gate. That's not what you need.